everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys my top 21 books to read in 2021. Now, I don't think I did this video last year, but I know I did it the year before. And I know a book on this list was on that list as well, but this year I have higher hopes of getting to. Now, before I dive into the video, I just want to say that not all of these books are coming out in 2021, and most of them actually aren't. I have all of them except two already because the other two haven't come out yet, but most of these are books I already own and I just really want to get to. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. So last year I decided to reread the Shadowhunter Chronicles in preparation for the new ones being released, as well as the ones that came out that I didn't get to read because I'd forgotten like everything about that series. So obviously the first book I want to read this year is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. Now I've actually already read this book. I think I finished it a couple weeks ago and I enjoyed it just as much as I did the first time, and now that I have refreshed my mind on everything pretty recently, I was able to understand a lot more references than I had the first time. Now, this series in the Shadowhunter world takes place after the events of the Mortal Instruments series, as well as the Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. So you can always read this whenever you want, but I just recommend reading the other books first because you'll have more knowledge of the side characters that were main characters in the other series. And then next on my list is obviously Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare, and I just finished this 2 or 3 days ago, and again, I loved it just as much as the first time. I cried again, so it's been a good time. But these are like the only 2 books that I've read out of this entire list, so it's not like I've already read all of these. I've just read 2, and I'm currently reading one of the ones I'm about to show you. But before I go on to that one, I just want to say that I did pick these books out because I knew I wanted to read them. Like 2 years ago when I did this video, I picked out books that I wanted to read, but not then. And that mood kind of stuck with me throughout the year, so I just didn't get to them. So I picked books that I knew I wanted to read now, knowing that I'm gonna want to read them in the coming months. Anyway, the next book I want to read this year is Ghosts of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, Maureen Johnson, Kelly Link, and Robin Wasserman. Now, this is the book I am currently reading, and I'm already enjoying it a lot. I heard that you had to read this book before Queen of Air and Darkness, which is the 3rd book in the Lady Midnight trilogy, and I am doing that because these were published before then, and I've also heard that there are some pieces of information in this that will help you enjoy Queen of Air and Darkness more. And these short stories mainly follow Brother Zachariah, which is somebody important if you've read the Infernal Devices trilogy. Next, I want to read Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare, which is the 3rd and final book in the Lady Midnight trilogy. I've had this on so many TBRs already and I never got to it, but now I know I'm going to get to it soon and I'm really excited to see how the whole trilogy ends. And this book is massive. I'm a little intimidated, but I'm still excited. Next, I'm hoping to get to A Tale of Magic by Chris Colfer, and if you watched my previous video on some of my favorite books of last year, you know that his other series made that list. So obviously I'm very excited to read this one and just be enveloped by his beautiful stories because they're filled with so many great characters, and I'm excited. I'm not really sure what this one is about, but if it's anything like his previous series, then I know I'm gonna love it. Next, I'm hoping I get to Legend Born by Tracy Deonn. Now, I wanted to read this last year, but I kind of ran out of time, so now I'm moving it to this year, and I'm really excited about it because I've heard nothing but good things about it. So it's supposed to relate to the Mortal Instruments, and you know, I'm realizing that I have a ton of Cassandra Clare's books on here. It's kind of funny, but I didn't really mean for it to be that way. I'm just really excited about reading this book because I've heard it's like an Arthurian reimagining tale of some sort. So I'm excited. And I just realized I forgot that I have more Cassandra Clare books on this list, so let's get into them before any more books. So after I finish those Cassandra Clare books, I want to get into the Red Scrolls of Magic series trilogy books. These follow Alec and Magnus from the Mortal Instruments series, and I haven't read either the Red Scrolls of Magic or The Eldest Curses by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. I'm trying to read them in publication order so I don't like spoil myself or anything, so that's why I'm reading these after those books because I know this takes place during the Mortal Instruments series, and I'm not exactly sure when this one takes place, but I'm gonna read it in publication order. And then the last Cassandra Clare book I have is Chain of Gold, but I was about to say by Cassandra Clare, but obviously I just said her name. I've just heard incredible things about this book, and I know a ton of people think of this as their favorite out of her books, and I'm really excited because it follows the children of the characters in the Infernal Devices, and I obviously love the Infernal Devices so much. It's my favorite out of her books, so I'm hoping that I'll love this even more. And one of the books that I don't have currently is Chain of Iron, which comes out in March, so that is going to be on this list as well. I just don't have the physical copy to hold up. But that is another book on this list, which is the sequel to this one. Next, I have the books in the Truth Witch series. I don't have the last one, which is Blood Witch, but the ones I do have are Truth Witch, Wind Witch, and Sight Witch, and I hope to read all 3 of these this year. I might buy Blood Witch if I get through all of these, so that'll be another one to add, but for right now I just want to focus on these 3. And I did read this 2 years ago, but it was paperback and I gave it to my teacher for extra credit, so I finally got this one for Christmas so I can reread it again because, per usual, I forgot all about it, so now I can finally continue on with the series. Next, I'm hoping to read Wicked Fox and Vicious Spirits by Kat Cho. Again, I read this a year or 2 ago, and I just got this for Christmas, so I obviously want to refresh my mind so I can read this one with the knowledge of what happened in this one. I feel like I'm saying obviously way too much, and I'm sorry. But this was definitely one of my favorite books of the year I read it, and I just want to reread it again, you know, and get to this one because I'm excited. So Wicked Fox follows like a Gumiho, I'm pretty sure, which is a 9-tailed fox, and her name is Mi Young, and she like loses her bead or something that is like her life force, and Jihoon sees it happen, or sees her in her real form, and they kind of gotta work together. I think that's what happens if memory serves me correctly. Next, I'd like to read West by Edith Patel. I know you're seeing this again on one of my TBRs. I never got to it last year like I wanted to, but really hoping I get to it this year. Because I've read East 2 years ago at this point, and I would like to continue reading. I don't think I need to reread East though, because I feel like the memories are still there and better ingrained in my mind, but we'll see. I can always like look up a summary of what happens in East if worse comes to worse, so that is the plan for West. Next, I would like to read The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. Now again, this was in my fall TBR last year, and this was one of the books that I wanted to read if I got to it, but I didn't get to it. So I really want to make this a priority this year because I've had it for a while now and I just want to read it. I also know it's going to be a really hard-hitting novel because it deals with the topic of rape and sexual assault, I believe. So it's an important one that I really want to get to this year because I've been dying to recently. Then I would like to read Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves, both by Mary E. Pearson. This is a duology that takes place after The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson, which I really thoroughly enjoyed, so I'm excited to continue on with books in a world that I liked a lot. I've heard that these are better than those, so I'm excited, and I really hope I enjoy them. I know I will. But I know it's about like a thief and a soldier, and I think like they're swapped, like the girl's the soldier and the guy's the thief, I think. I don't know. But I've just heard incredible things about this and I'm excited to read it. And the last physical book I have that I want to read this year is In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park. So I got this book 2 years ago. I know 2 years ago is a recurring theme in this video, but it was for a language arts assignment, and I actually got 2 books and I chose to read one of them over this one. But now that it's done and over with, I really want to read this one because that language arts class I had last school year, we did a unit on refugees, and ever since then I've been really interested in the topic, and I think this is just going to be a really educational book that I would like to get to and increase my knowledge on that subject. Plus, I've heard really good things about this book from those who have read it. And the last book I want to read this year is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Since it's not out yet this year, I don't have the actual book with me, and I don't know how to do the picture thing on my editing software. I don't think it does that because it's free, but I do want to get to that this year, and I know I'm gonna buy it because it's Sarah J. Maas and I literally buy all her books, so it's gonna be here whenever it comes out. So those are all the books I want to read, well, my top 21 books I want to read this year. So that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!